Quitting smoking has helped my mental health tremendously. I used to have really bad low self-esteem and other issues associated with my, bipolar and PTSD and everything. And not being a non-smoker has made me feel so much more comfortable being around people. My anxiety has gone down a great deal. I just feel more relaxed and better. To be successful quitting smoking, it took me a while because I did it while I was at a program. It was for drugs and alcohol, and mental health, but they had a smoking rule that you could smoke between breaks, and everybody did. But I decided if I was going to quit everything, I would quit smoking too. And it was a good decision, but it was very difficult because I was in the smoking environment. If it had been a tobacco-free policy, it would have been very much more helpful because I was faced with the dilemma of being around smokers all the time, and I was the only one just about that didn't smoke. I mean, almost everybody smoked there, and they chose to use that instead of drugs and alcohol. In this program where I was at, since it was a smoking program, I had my sister bring in patches to me. And I also just stayed right away from the smokers. I used to walk, they had a track in the back. I used to walk the track during the smoke breaks and be away from them. My providers could have been more helpful if they had made this place smoke free. I think it would have changed everything. I think a lot more people would stay clean longer. It was just not a good environment. I would tell providers who are afraid to create a tobacco-free program that they should just try it because they'll see progress. They'll see that it makes a difference. Maybe some people won't want to be in that program, but that's okay. The people that do want to be in it are more dedicated anyway. I've heard of providers even offering their patients, go smoke if you feel stressed. Offering them cigarettes at mental health organizations. They have smoke breaks and also reward people for going to group by offering cigarettes. So I would tell them, that's not helpful at all. Actually, where I work, it has become a place where no evidence of tobacco use. That's a new policy they installed since I've been there. I would tell a consumer who tried and couldn't succeed to keep trying because it is possible. You can quit smoking. Just keep trying. I've seen it over and over, success. A very good tobacco-free environment would look like, they offer a lot of support, non-smoking support groups, maybe some, yoga. I'm very big on yoga. I love yoga. It's been very helpful in helping me succeed in all my endeavors. I would say offer support, offer patches, offer medication. That's really important for quitting smoking. And just, support them all the way.
I'm a woman in long-term recovery, and what that means for me is that I haven't used any mind-altering substances, including tobacco, since May 6, 2013. I feel great as a non-smoker. Not smoking cigarettes has helped me achieve sobriety longer than I've ever have. What I learned is that smoking cigarettes keeps my disease of addiction active because my brain is not shutting down the addictive disease, and it's the behavior around smoking cigarettes, the getting and using and finding ways and means to want to smoke and have to smoke. My life has totally changed since not smoking cigarettes. So I was fortunate when I started my recovery journey. I was in a residential program where the director, against all adversities, chose to make the program tobacco-free. And when I got there, we weren't allowed to smoke cigarettes. And that was May 6, 2013. And when I left there after 6 months, I went into an outpatient program where also they had the tobacco-free policy in place. And so I was able not to smoke there either because I was in their housing. So if I wanted a place to live, I couldn't smoke. And so it made it a little easier for me because I wanted my recovery so bad that I knew if I didn't have a safe place to live, that I wouldn't stay clean. And so in order to have a safe place to live, I couldn't smoke cigarettes. And so it all played a part. Okay, so we did smoking cessation classes. The outpatient program that I went to after the 6 month residential offered acupuncture. Actually, it wasn't offered, it was mandatory. Because if they wanted you to stop smoking, they had to implement some stuff to help you. And so we did yoga, mindful meditation, guided meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong. They allowed people that struggled, that had smoked for years, to do nicotine patches for 30 days. I, however, tried the nicotine gum when I was in residential, and it burnt my chest because I didn't know you were supposed to chew and place it in your gums. I just was chewing it like regular bubble gum. And so it made my chest hurt. So that really, but I was able to do it with the smoking cessation classes, a lot of information about the chemicals in cigarettes, what the tobacco actually does to your organs, how it keeps the disease of addiction active. And yeah. So I had a lot of support. So I would say to providers that are afraid to make their organizations tobacco free, walk through the fear. I would say don't be afraid to save lives. If you want a successful recovery program or people to stay clean longer, I would really, really recommend that you do a tobacco-free organization. It's going to succeed. People are going to want to get clean, and they're going to stay clean longer. It saved my life. It literally saved my life. I'm real clear that if I smoke a cigarette, I'll end up smoking crack cocaine. Tobacco is the number one killer in the United States of America. It kills thousands a day. And helping people get clean from drugs and alcohol is wonderful. But if you don't have that other piece to help them maintain that sobriety, then they're not going to make it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy McDonald. I'm the project director for the Alameda County Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drug Provider Network, and I've been fortunate to be in that position now for the last 20 years. What we know from national surveys and from the National Association of State Mental Health Program Directors and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration is that tobacco dependence has been neglected in clients with behavioral health, mental health, and substance use conditions for many years. Fortunately, the tide is turning, and the recent surveys are showing us that the rate of drop in tobacco use in people with these conditions is actually dropping at a faster rate than for people who don't have these conditions, which is narrowing the gap because it was a horrible disparity. And we need to continue to make sure that people that have these tobacco dependence are receiving the help that they deserve in our behavioral health facilities. We have a number of agencies that have embraced this with comprehensive tobacco-free policies where they have consistently assessed their patients and treated their patients for tobacco dependence. The current Alameda County Behavioral Health Care tobacco policies are designed to bring everybody else along. It's also important to make sure that provisions have been made for tobacco dependence treatment medication, like nicotine replacement medication. I mean, of course, counseling is important, but the medication piece is a big one as well. And when an agency is a residential program, it's very important to have this on board before you make that transition. When agencies embark on this, it's really important for them to have an ongoing dialogue about the tobacco dependence cycle, where it's understood that when a person smokes a cigarette, the nicotine hits the brain within 7 seconds. And unfortunately, when the person tries to put down cigarettes, they're hit with a very physiologic withdrawal syndrome, which is very unpleasant. So that just makes this a very vicious cycle. So it's important for the staff to be understanding the power of tobacco addiction. And it's also important to have buy-in at the top and throughout the agency. And one of the things that's really amazing is that if we help these individuals to stop using tobacco, not only is it going to help their mental health And it is also going to help their physical health. But in addition to that, it's going to help their finances, their opportunities for employment, their opportunities for housing, and eventually their social relationships. So it's a win-win situation.